What up, y'all? My name is Trifling, King T. You know what it is. Compton in the house.
Yeah, make video, you know, this is for sure, Yeah, make video, open your soul, represent your ghetto, baby.
Where was you born and where was you raised at?
I was born right here in Los Angeles, General Hospital. Practically raised all around the greater Los Angeles from, all around LA, Pacoima, Van Nuys, Los Angeles, and Compton.
All right, when did you move to Compton?
That had to be middle of 88, 1988. Moved from Hawthorne. I moved from, we were living in the Valley in Panorama City, me and Cold Crush Chris. And after got introduced to Scotty D, Big P, Lil Cliff and all that, they made me a part of what is now known as Compton, Hub City. I moved there in middle of 88 on Caldwell and Kemp, Nutty Blocc Crips.
Nutty Hood.
Mm.
A lot of people thought you was from Front Hood. Did you ever gangbang?
Nah, I never gangbanged. I just mostly affiliated through the music with the gang. Front Hood. Mostly more Front Hood than Nutty. You know what I'm saying? I did my dirt, you know what I'm saying, doing that young shit, you know what I'm saying, but I learned about the streets and, the respect and shit that deals with the hood through being in Front Hood. Some of my best friends from Front Hood Crip.
Is that who influenced your dress style, the khakis and t-shirts?
Most definitely, Big P from Front Hood, yep. He put me on, you know what I'm saying? And that's where it all came from. The golf hats, the khaki suits, the house shoes. I didn't really rock the bandanas like they doing now. I don't know who did back then, but the active motherfuckers. But that's all. Very much influenced by the gang culture.
How long did you stay in Compton?
Woo! I think that was good. We put out, I think, right when Act a Fool. Right after I released the album Act a Fool, that's when I had to get up out of there. It was a mess going on. You know what I'm saying? Got into it with some cats from Pacoima actually, and it was a big old mess. We ended up getting it straight. Everything's cool now, but I had to go tuck in. You know what I'm saying? I had to,
These are cats from your old neighborhood?
Yeah, you could say that. Some kids I grew up with. See, my grandmother lived in Pacoima, so I was there every season, you know what I'm saying? Christmas, Thanksgiving, holidays, summer, so I kind of grew up with a lot of cats around here and lived, all lived in the same vicinity. Louver Street, right in Pacoima,
When did you start rapping?
I was actually a DJ first. I started DJing before I actually got on the mic, and I didn't really start getting on the turntables, the ones and twos, until my mother took me to Houston. My mother moved me to Houston, what year was that? 83, 84. And I was out there, I think I was about 14, 15 years old. And just got a lucky break, ended up on this kids program where they, played hip hop at Texas Southern University. It was a radio station at Texas Southern University. And I ended up being able to get on the turntables and do my little tricks that I brought from, when I was living here. And of course, I used to watch DJs like Bobcat, Egyptian Lover, Joe Cooley, even Wildcat, Kitty Cat, all them, California Cat Crew, Uncle Jam's Army. So I took the styles that I watched them do, and I was about 15 years old, and I was out there doing the tricks out there, and they thought I was a young phenom, but you know what it is.
So Tila, you connected with Uncle Jam's Army. That's where that crew kind of like was a part of, right?
Yeah. Scotty D, man. Like I said, my grandmother lived in Pacoima. At that time, when I came back from Houston, I was coming from being locked up out there at Harris County Youth Village in Houston. And I didn't have nobody. My mother moved somewhere else, I think into Ohio. She met somebody else. And I was just stuck out there, and I kept running away from the placement I was at out there. And they just said, fuck it, instead of sending me to the big house, to the penitentiary for big fuck ups, they sent me home to my grandmother. And that's how I ended up in Pacoima. And I didn't want to go to school out there, so I used to ditch it all the time. And so I ran into Scotty D at the Fila shop and, lied to him and actually told him I was from Uncle Jam's Army. And didn't know he was already affiliated with Uncle Jam's Army, Roger Clayton. DJ Pooh was with him at the time, and he knew Bobcat and all that. So they laughed at me, but they stuck with me and wanted to see what I could do on the turntable. So I eventually joined up with Scotty D at the Fila shop. That's how I met Big Pete and his brother Lil Cliff, and that's where I was put on in Compton at.
That's dope. So
in Pacoima.
Yeah. So your early heydays, like what came into the part when you became an MC? Because we're familiar with the St. Ives commercials and the DJ Pooh movement.
Yeah. Well, being that, we were in this school, the crew that we were down with at the Fila shop was called Total Control. It was me, J-Ro from Tha Alkaholiks, DJ Pooh, and another kid named Swabby D that's rested in peace. But there was also, I was a DJ in that crew, but Pooh was also a DJ, and then there was other DJs coming around like Bobcat and all that. So there was just too many DJs, and I used to grab the mic sometime and spit rhymes that I learned on Wild Style. I know you heard about that, So they just they loved the way my voice was and all that. And Pooh, got instilled in me I should start rapping and become an MC. He's even the one who gave me the name King T.